I'm making Ryan Trahan the first ever animated commercial for his candy Joyride. Ryan is on a journey to make Joyride the best selling candy in Target. So I spent countless hours crafting a unique art style to help his brand stand out and coming up with an engaging animation to help him get there soon. And although I've made other animations before, I knew this one wasn't gonna be as sweet and easy to make, because these are sour strip. Here are references I've gathered for the animation. I'm drawn towards these chubby characters. I like the softer look they have, giving a more inviting look, which is what we are going for since this is a commercial. We wanna welcome people who haven't seen the product before to watch the commercial throughout. Not only that, but I also like these character designs where the legs and arms have the same diameter throughout, having sort of like a cylinder look. Like always, I start with sculpting the head first, then go from there to the rest of the body. This is because it takes longer to figure out the face, especially considering that I have to make the character look like a real person, in this case Ryan Trahan. As for brushes, I use the clay strip brush to add and remove clay from the mesh, the grab brush to shape up the character, and the draw sharp and crease brush to add and refine smaller details like the creases around the eyes and the lips. One thing that helps me get the likeness closer to the reference is looking at features that stand out on the person. Ryan has a cool chin, cool hair, and blue eyes.
For a while, I thought that I have seen the pinnacle of glaze. I thought I'd seen it all.
If you watch a lot of his videos, you'll also notice how he's always wearing a white vest and Air Force Ones in most of his videos. Once I got the main character done, I duplicate the mesh to the side to help me see how the other characters will look compared to his character. I'm making 3 characters in total for the commercial, and using duplicated meshes to make the other characters will help me make them look different while still keeping them in the same art style. After squishing, dragging, and scaling the other 2 characters to make them look different to the first, I then go back to add finishing touches to them by cleaning up the sculpt and retopologizing to lower the density of the meshes. Okay, so here's how the animation will go. Ryan's character is sitting down at the park set. 2 kids passes by a second into the animation running. This will be the hook of the animation. I want to add a little bit of energy in the beginning to get the viewer hooked. Also, this helps set the mood for the commercial since Ryan makes family friendly content. After the hook, his character notices the kids running by enjoying their day and remembers he has candy he's been willing to try because he also wants to enjoy his day. He then takes it out cartooningly, not sure if there's a way. Then boom, Joyride. The candy shows up on screen. We're keeping it simple and grounded. Now let's rig the characters we just made for animation. We have a problem. I just lost 4 days working on a rig. All for nothing. See, I thought I should try a new method of rigging for this project. For those who don't know, it's easier to animate an object like this in Blender. All you do is keyframe the first point on the timeline using I, scroll to another point on the timeline, rotate, scale, or move the object how you want, then keyframe using I again. Boom, you have an animation. But for something as complex as a character, you have to rig it first, which means placing bones and controls you can use to move the character. But because I wanted to save time and not do all of that, I decided I should use an add-on instead and save time. So I found out there's an add-on that does all the rigging for you and it's free. When I tell you I spent 4 days trying to do something I can do in 30 minutes using Rigify, but I still wasn't able to finish it in those 4 days, you wouldn't believe me. Blind rig, come on bro, why? Anyways, after those 4 days, I went back to using Rigify. I was also lucky to get Auto Rig for free during Blender Market's 10 years anniversary, which is like the free add-on I tried, but works like magic, and now we can finally animate. What if I was to tell you there was once a kid that grew up trying to find his thing, growing up in a small town where dreaming big is not normalized and his family not having much, but he kept on trying one thing after another, from playing a trumpet to running to trying to make his own software, trying so hard until one thing finally clicked for him. And as soon as that one thing started working out for him, he was told to stop chasing it or everything else he's been working towards will be put to an end. In 6th grade, Ryan Trahan fell in love with playing a trumpet after he saw his brother playing it. In high school, he was motivated by Shark Tank and wanted to make his own live streaming software where you can watch your favorite shows with your friends online. That failed and he ended up starting a water bottle business instead called Neptune with his friend, stocking up to 1,000 bottles to sell. Fast forward to college and he was a D1 runner for Texas A&M. By that time, he had already started a YouTube channel making running videos and to also sell those 1,000 water bottles since he's from a small town and they could only sell a certain amount in person. Not only was that a good idea since it helped his finances, but he also grew a lot of love for YouTube and had built up a following of 20,000 subscribers. Although he wasn't the best at running, Ryan saw a huge potential in it as he was going to be representing his college. Things were really starting to add up until he got a call from his college.
I had enough to pay for groceries and rent. I was super excited, like, wow, I'm really kind of making some money on this thing. And then I sort of get a call from the NCAA advisor at Texas A&M, and they find out about the bottles and they find out about the YouTube channel, the fact that I'm making money, or maybe they just couldn't ignore it any longer. And they reach out and kind of give me this ultimatum where essentially they tell me you can't use your name, image, and likeness and be on the Texas A&M team and continue making money on your YouTube channel and bottle thing.
Ryan knew this wasn't fair, but he still had to choose at the end of the day. Basically between his newly found dream and running in college.
Ultimately, what I decided is not only am I not gonna run anymore, I also am gonna drop out of college to pursue YouTube. When I dropped out of college, I had 20,000 subscribers, and this sounds so cocky, but I posted a video that says I have to drop out of college. And in the video, I literally look like a tiny little kid, and I say,
to the people saying I'm making a mistake, fair enough, but you can't judge me until the summer of 2021, when my peers are graduating college. And I have a feeling, a very strong feeling, that good things are gonna be happening a lot sooner than that.
He took a chance, kept trying and trying. Now he's one of the most genuine people on YouTube, living his dreams, and he also partnered with a candy company to make candy people laugh, fulfilling his other childhood dream of having his own business. This is really motivating and keeps me going. I've spent so much time trying to make my full-time artist dream work out, and even when life keeps throwing curveballs at me, I'll still show up until it works out, and I hope you'll also show up for your dream life too. Okay, I had to change the animation for Ryan's character for 2 reasons. Although the blocking was good, I felt like it didn't contribute well to the overall story being told within the commercial. The pose made him look more confident, whereas I'm going for a sad mood in the first few seconds of the animation. 2, due to how Ryan's character was sitting on the bench, it would have been weird for him to quickly take out the candy from the bag cartooningly. It made him have more energy, which is not really what a sad person has. A perfect example is Sadness from Inside Out. I ended up changing it so that he takes the candy from the bench, which I didn't really like. So here's how the animation looked before. And here's how the animation looks after polishing it. I also animated the kids running on their own respective Blender files and will composite everything together at the end. By the way, I always shoot references to help me out with the animation, but for the kids running, I used this video from YouTube of kids running as a reference. I also quickly modeled the bench and the background. I always see this park on his videos, so I googled it out. As for the materials, these are the shaders I used for the character, clothes, buildings, clouds, and the grass. I was going for a more painterly style to make the commercial unique and had to take inspiration from multiple tutorials on YouTube to get the look I like. 2 things that were really challenging were the clouds and the grass, but I ended up finding geometry node video tutorials, and that really helped me achieve this look. I'll leave all the links in the description below. So this is how the scene is set up. You can see the camera view on the left over here. I basically broke the scene into the character and the bench, everything in between, the buildings. The character and the bench are basically the only things in 3D. Everything else is just on a plane. I basically rendered the trees, the buildings, and the clouds in their own respective files and put them in this scene as planes. In their own files, I basically rendered the diffuse image and the normal map. And here's how the final shader looks for the plane that makes up the tree. What I like about this is that the tree is able to react to light. You can clearly see on this tree. See, it goes off, on, and if you move the light, it also reacts to where the light source is coming from. To add some atmosphere, I also added these planes as gradients. As you can see, this one, the blue one, and I think the orange one. Let me show you how the final version looks when I turn them on. As you can see, it really does add a lot to the scene. And what I like about Blender is that you can find, if you do a little bit of research, you can find a tutorial for pretty much everything, and I'll leave all the links in the description below. When rendering, the goal is to save as much render time as you can. So instead of making sure everything looks good in the 3D viewport, I focus more on what looks good on camera. And that goes for a lot of things, from 3D modeling, rigging, texturing, and animating, everything. All in all, the animation is 9 seconds, but this is because I cut it short. The original commercial was supposed to be 35 seconds long, but I thought I should make this shorter as a concept first. I even sent it to Joyride and Ryan Trahan on their social, but obviously didn't get a reply, which is okay. If you'd like to see me finish the whole animation, let me know by liking the video. Let's get 500 likes. You can view the final animation using the first link in the description. But for now, here's another video where I made an animation from scratch.